I went to Las Vegas for CES 2024 last week. I saw tons of prototypes and concepts, but here's my roundup of the top products that I saw that you'll actually be able to get your hands on in 2024. If I sound a little congested, that's because I am. I definitely picked up the CES Con Flu or the Plague while I was there. Let's start with LG. This is the LG Signature OLED T. Okay, this isn't the first time we've seen a transparent TV at CES, but when LG told me that it will come out sometime later this year, my ears popped up. No price point on this yet, but they have made some obvious improvements to fine-tune the concept that we first saw. The display is very crisp, and their demo showed me how you can control the black background layer by making it drop down out of sight and draw back up so it looks like a traditional display. At one point, I was able to walk behind the TV, and you can't really see what's being displayed on it while you're behind it. And when the black backdrop is pulled, it's like looking at a curtain from behind. The display is bright enough that vibrant scenes make everything behind the TV sort of disappear from view, even without the backdrop. We may see some final adjustments to this product design before it hits the market later this year. Next, I stopped by Govee's booth. Govee is sponsoring this video, and since I own a bunch of their devices already, I was very excited to see how they are improving upon their smart lighting categories. First, we have Govee AI. One of the ways that Govee is using AI is with Govee AI GC, or Artificial Intelligence Generated Content. In this demo, I asked the app via voice command to create a lighting effect that was inspired by my favorite anime, which is called Sailor Moon. It generated this ethereal moonlit design with blues and starry sparkles that fit the aesthetic that I was thinking of. Govee AI GC uses data training and AI algorithms to take user input and create a design to fit that idea. This will be available in the Govee app after a software update, and it will be integrated into many Govee products. Using the Govee AI TV Backlight 3 Pro, I also saw CogniGlow in action, which recognizes visual and audio signals from scenes and generates more dynamic and immersive AI lighting effects. Now, this was very cool to see in person, especially during a scene with a bunch of fireworks on the screen. The AI functionality works locally instead of transferring data to the cloud for user privacy. In their gaming room, Govee introduced the new Govee gaming wall light with a mecha theme in collaboration with Evangelion. Now, they are Matter compatible with a lot of customizable display options and swappable faceplates. The new curtain lights too are also Matter compatible and IP65 waterproof. Now, these curtain lights can have 3 sets plugged into one adapter, and they have 10 canvases for much more options in terms of patterns. Lastly, I wanted to shout out Govee Life Smart Appliances, which are bringing affordable smart home appliances to the mix. Govee's making everything from heaters to electric kettles, smart plugs, air purifiers, and more. The smart plugs in particular, along with many of their other lighting options, are Matter compatible as well, which will include better coverage, interconnection with other devices, and operability. Thank you so much to Govee for sponsoring the CES video. Razer also showed me their newest laptop, starting with the Blade 18. This is the world's first 18-inch 4K 165Hz display in a laptop. It features Thunderbolt 5, and it will be available later this year. The one that's available now is the Razer Blade 16. This is the first and the fastest OLED at 240Hz. It's a 16-inch display at a 0.2 millisecond response time with the 40 series NVIDIA GeForce GPUs and of course Intel's Core i9 processors. This one again is available now. It will start at $3,000. Yes, $3,000. Next we have the Razer Blade 14. This is the smallest option in the lineup with an AMD Ryzen option. Of course, you have your RTX 40 series graphics, and this will have a QHD Plus 240Hz display, and it is available for pre-order later this month. Now, all 3 of these are lighter than I'd expected, and they all feature upgraded specs for Wi-Fi, ports, and storage and RAM. Real quick, I wanted to mention Corsair and Elgato. Corsair had their 6500X mid-tower dual-chamber PC case. This is really beautiful. It would be like an upgrade to the one I currently have. This one features 2 tempered glass panels for dual-chamber designs. It's very clean and compatible with the new reversible connection motherboards. They also had their Corsair 2500X Micro ATX dual-chamber PC case. This one also has those dual glass panels, and it has that smaller form factor for your smaller builds. Both of these are going to be available in February. Elgato had some really cool new tech, including their 4K 4KX external capture card. This one features HDMI 2.1 and it's capable of recording up to 4K 144 or 240 FPS at 1080p. You can also play in HDR10 while capturing SDR, including VRR pass-through. This will be available in February for $230. They also had an internal option. This is called the 4K Pro. This one also has HDMI 2.1, and if you have the tech for it, you can do up to 8K pass-through with simultaneous 4K 60 recording or 240 FPS at 1080p. This one will also be available in February. This one will be $280. Let's move on to Asus, who had a whole bunch of different products to show off this year. First, we have a couple of phones, the ROG Phone 8 and the ROG Phone 8 Pro. First is the Phone 8. This one features Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 mobile platforms with ray tracing hardware acceleration, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of ROM, and the Republic of Gamers GameCool 8 thermal system with rapid cooling conductors. And the display is a 6.78-inch Samsung AMOLED display at 2500 nits brightness. On the back of here, you will see the Aura RGB lighting. This is an IP68 waterproof phone, and the MSRP will start at $1,100. The Phone 8 Pro also features the same CPU from Snapdragon, 2 terabytes of ROM. This one also features the same thermal system with rapid cooling conductor, pro level camera, and the same display. The back of this one features a programmable mini LED display, which you can use to promote your YouTube channel. And the MSRP on this one will start just slightly over the Phone 8 at $1,200. No release date on these yet in the US, but they will be available in the UK in February. I'm a big fan of the ROG Zephyrus G14 and G16. These are really beautiful laptops. First, we have the G16. This one has an Intel Core Ultra 9, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090, 32 gigs of RAM, and it only weighs about 4 pounds. Cool thing about this one is the display. It's at 240 Hz refresh rate, it's a 16:10 aspect ratio, and it's a 2.5K OLED display. I love that it has an SD card slot. That'd be great for content creation. It's got this big glass-covered trackpad, and then we move over to the G14, which is the AMD Ryzen 8000 option with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 GPU. This one also has 32 gigs of RAM, and it only weighs a little over 3 pounds. The Republic of Gamers Nebula display on this one is a 3K OLED display at 120 Hz refresh rate. No price point yet on these, but they will be available from Q1 2024. Now here's the one that everybody was talking about. It's called the ZenBook Duo. This one features dual 14-inch 3K OLED touchscreens, very responsive, and it has multi-mode usage. So you detach that full-size keyboard and touchpad. You can still use a keyboard on the screen itself, of course, but there's also a kickstand on the back of the displays, so you can use them in a couple of different modes. You can use it as an extension of the original display, so you can scroll really easily through content. You can set it up sort of like a book, or you can mirror the display to present information to somebody sitting in front of you, or play a game back and forth. No price or date of release on this one yet. Let's move on to Lenovo. I feel like I saw 40 different things in their booth, but these are the ones that stood out to me the most. This first one ships as a bundle. So this is the ThinkBook Plus Hybrid Tab and the ThinkBook Plus Hybrid Station. So the Tab is a tablet. It's a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 with Android 13 on it, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of ROM, and it features this 14-inch 2.8K OLED display, which is stylus compatible, and it only weighs 1.73 pounds. The station is the bottom part. This part has an Intel Core Ultra 7 processor, Windows 11 is built in, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, 2.14 pounds. So the way you use this is by combining the two pieces, and the start button switches it between Android and Windows. It's very responsive, the keyboard is backlit, and there's this really cool hybrid folder that allows you to access content that you've saved on one of those operating systems with the other through your regular PC PC file system. There's a magnetic spot on the back for a stylus, and this will be coming out in Q2 for $19.99. Lenovo also had their Legion 7i. I love this Legion, it's so pretty. It features up to the 14th gen Intel Core i9, specifically the 14900HX, Windows 11 of course, up to the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 laptop GPUs. You also get 32 gigs of RAM, up to 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and a 16-inch 3.2K IPS display at 430 nits. This one only weighs 3.97 pounds and is coming out in March for $20.99. Let's move on to Acer. They had the Swift X14. This laptop was designed with creators in mind, including the updated Intel Core Ultra H series processors, up to the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 laptop GPUs, and this one features a 14.5-inch 2.8K OLED display. The refresh rate on this one is 120 Hz, and this will be available in North America in February starting at $13.99. Their other laptop that really stood out to me was the Predator Helio 16. Of course, this one will have a little bit more higher end specs like the Intel Core i9 processor, and you'll have your RTX 4090 laptop GPU. There's a couple of different options. There's a 16 and an 18 inch, and there's an option to do a mini LED panel. I, of course, am a big fan of RGB lighting. They have that dynamic RGB lighting effect on the laptop's Predator logo. The backside has this beautiful infinity mirror lighting bar, and the keyboard is really cool. Not only does it have that mini LED backlit keyboard, and it's mini LED, which is very interesting, but they also have these patented MagKey 3.0 swappable mechanical keyboard switches, and it also features Wi-Fi 7 support. How cool is that? This one will be available in January starting at $18.99 in North America. I was also able to see their brand new Predator Z57, which is the biggest in their new group lineup of gaming monitors. This one is a 57-inch DUHD display at 120 Hz. That means it's 7680 by 2160, and it has a 1000R curvature. And of course, it is VESA mount compatible. This will be $24.99.99 coming out in Q2. Real quick, I wanted to make a shout out to a couple of my friends. First, we have Clix, which was also announced here at CES 2024. Clix is an iPhone case developed with creators in mind. So if you constantly feel like your keyboard is taking up a whole bunch of space on your screen when you would rather see what's going on the screen as opposed to whatever you're writing, you can get one of these keyboard cases called Clix. It allows you to take full advantage of the display on your device while using a traditional physical keyboard right below the screen itself. The size of this really reminded me of my very first, I'm gonna call it a smartphone. I had a Palm Centro back when I was still in college. So of course I thought this was very cool. My short time with it showed me that my longer fingernails did make it a little bit tougher to type on the buttons. However, if you do have shorter fingernails and you already know a QWERTY key lineup, then you could type away without really having to look at the keyboard itself. Clix is going to start shipping in the spring for a starting price of $139. For my friends in the audience who run their own businesses, you may be interested in Apex Storage. Apex Storage gives you the ability to host a whole bunch of NVMe storage off of one PCIe slot. It's really interesting how they built this. First, we have one called the X21. This one lets you host 21 M.2 storage devices. And then we have the X16, which allows you to host 16 of them. Now, of course, this would be best used by somebody who needs lots and lots of space for development, if you're creating a whole bunch of servers, if you need a whole bunch of backup storage solutions. If you're a content creator, you may want a whole bunch of storage like this in your home PC. Here's the pricing without the SSDs on them. First, we have the X21, which is shipping now for $2,800. Then we have the X16, which is available for pre-order. That one will ship in mid-2024 for $1,824. Lastly, for today, we have TCL. I got to see the newest in their lines for the Q6 Pro series of TVs, also the QM7 series. Then we have the Q QM8 series, which would be the higher end version of these. They also showed me their brand new, let me see if I can get this model name right. It's the 115 QM891G series TV. This one also has a QD mini LED panel with up to 20,000 plus dimming zones. And yes, this thing is gigantic. It's 115 inches. The TCL 50 XL Nextpaper 5G. This one features a 6.78 inch Nextpaper display at 120 Hz refresh rate. The cameras include a 50 megapixel hybrid camera. On the front, there's an 8 megapixel. On the back is the 50. It packs in 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of ROM storage. Android 14, of course you have dual speakers, NFC. The battery is really big. It's a 5010 milliampere hour battery and 18 watts of charging. On the tablet side, the TCL Nextpaper 14 Pro. Again, this one does feature the Nextpaper technology and it's really beautiful. It's a 14-inch 2.8K 120 Hz display, which includes a 13 megapixel front camera and a 50 megapixel rear camera with a 12,000 milliampere hour battery, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of ROM. It's a pretty nice tablet. Android 14, Wi-Fi 6, and this one is supposed to come out in spring of 2024. The last piece of tech that I had so much fun with and I really wanted to share with you is the Ray Neo Air 2. So the idea with this is that you have a 201-inch screen at 6 meters away, but it's built into this pair of glasses. It features a next-gen low-power micro OLED display with custom color effects and a Whisper Mode 2.0 for privacy. The display also has eye protection built in and 120 Hz refresh rate. Now, compared to the previous Ray Neo, this one is very, very ultra lightweight. It does have this really nice adjustable design, which I felt to be very useful. I don't have a tall bridge on my nose, so I did have to adjust this so I could see the display really well. And I had fun with this because I was playing the Nintendo Switch. I was playing Zelda right in front of my face through this Joy Dock. So the Joy Dock gives you gaming on the go through the Ray Neo Air 2 glasses, which means you're not going to have a whole bunch of neck pain by looking down at your Nintendo Switch the whole time if you're traveling with these on. It connects to the Nintendo Switch. It has a 10,000 milliampere hour battery built in, and it gives you portability with your Nintendo Switch without the Switch dock set. The bundle is available right now on Amazon for $429. So that is everything that I saw at CES 2024 that is supposed to come out this year. Of course, if you are interested in seeing more concepts and more prototypes and more of the pretty things that I saw at CES, you can also stick around and check out all the shorts that are coming out this week as well. Special thanks again to Govee for sponsoring this video, and make sure to comment down below if you would like to see me review any of these products in depth. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my channel. Let's make 2024 a really good one. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.